What's going on, y'all? Seuss with randombibleproverb.com or Random Bible Proverb. Coming at you with another video. We're just talking about some proverbs here today. Uh, so I've just kind of been thinking today, like, what's the purpose of proverbs? Why should we read them as Christians or people that that are saved? I don't even know what to call myself. I call myself a Christian, but I don't like the Christian term. I've already talked about this before. I don't know, believers. I don't know. People that believe in God through Jesus Christ. People that are saved through Jesus Christ. Anyway, so yeah. So anyways, the purpose of Proverbs is basically, the way I understand it is, it's basically wisdom to help you live life. It's wisdom to help you how to live your life, you know, and to help you live wisely. There's a lot of I noticed that there's a lot of consequences if you act a certain way. Like, if you do this, then this. If you do this, then that. That type of thing going on in the book of Proverbs. What else? And there's also verses in there that are like facts and truths. You know what I mean? And not so much if you do this, then this. It's more like, this is how this is. Like this one verse today, where it talks about the fool. Proverbs chapter 27 verse 3, it says, stone is heavy and sand is weighty, but a fool's unreasoning wrath is heavier and more intolerable than both of them. So that's just like a statement, like, this is having to deal with a fool that is wrathful, is basically, it's intolerable. It's a burden. And here in this case, it's referring to it like heavy sand. You know what I mean? It's a burden to deal with foolish people. So that type of fact is what, the type of thing that the Proverbs talks about. So it's just wisdom for your life, and it has helped me. It has helped me personally in my daily life, because I read a proverb, try to read a proverb every day, one chapter every day. And as you can see from my posts, from the posts on that I do on Random Bible Proverb, I try to do them every day. Like, today's the 27th, and I try to find one verse from the 27th and post it. And why do I do that? I do that because this book and the Bible in general, I don't just read this book. I do mostly, but I do, Psalms, New Testament, stuff like that. Sometimes the Old Testament, I'm really not too versed in the Old Testament, but mostly like the wisdom books and the New Testament. But Proverbs has been really helpful to live, like I said, because Proverbs is for your life. You know what I mean? How to talk to people, how to handle money. Like, it says not to borrow money. You know what I mean? That's an ancient concept that's found in the book of Proverbs that we ignore, in society today. Like, we borrow money. It's normal. It's a normal thing, but it says that it's foolish. In the book of Proverbs, I'm not sure exactly where it is. I think it's chapter 22, but it says, what does it say? That the borrower is servant to the lender, or something like that. And I get that from Dave Ramsey. I follow Dave Ramsey. Yeah, the rich. I think it's chapter 22, but I'll try to put a link or something down here where it says that the rich rule over I think it says the rich rules over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender. Something like that. But it's like, if you're a slave, do you want to be a slave? You know what I mean? Is it wise to be a slave? I mean, it talks about being a slave to Christ, but a slave to another person because you borrow money for them. It's just, it's just wise living. You know what I mean? That's just one of the areas. How to deal with finances, how to have, interpersonal relationships. Proverbs chapter 27 verses 1 through 6 is about interpersonal relationships. See if I can read some of this for you. The relationship with a person, with people. Verse 1 talks about warnings about tomorrow's uncertainty. 27 verse 2, praising oneself is evidence of pride. I really like that one. It says, let another man praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. That's referring to pride, and it says that you should refrain from boasting about yourself. You should let others do that for you. It's like a pride and humility. There, pride is the opposite of humility. Humility is the opposite of pride. If we praise ourselves, that's considered pride. According to this, it says, "Let another man praise you, and not your own mouth; a stranger, and not your own lips." And this commentary that I'm reading, it's called the Bible Knowledge Commentary. It says, "Praising oneself is evidence of pride, and therefore is wrong." Pride is not good, you know. So Proverbs for your life, that's basically what it is. It's how you live your life. And I think Christians, people that believe in Jesus, we need this, because we need to learn how to live life. Because if we're stuck in our sins, if we're stuck in doing the things that we're not supposed to be doing, how else are we going to learn? You know what I'm saying? This book is so valuable. You know what I'm saying? It's valuable for our life because it teaches us how to live life on earth. And it's like our life, it fulfills a mission. I think it helps fulfill a mission, our mission for Christ, to share the gospel, to spread the word. You know what I mean? I was talking to my wife earlier, and she was saying that the disciples and Paul, they went out like risking basically some risks, risking their lives, because they knew that people, they didn't know if people were going to accept them or whatever, but they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And I feel like when we live this type of life that God calls us to live, a wise life, as Proverbs illustrates, it's a wise way to live, and people see that. You know what I mean? The community sees that, your coworkers see that, your family sees that, and they can only but question, like, why, or they can just think in their mind, like, why? You know what I mean? Because it's out of the norm. It's out of the norm, and people will see that. Right here, the theme in this Bible, it says that Proverbs it's part of the wisdom literature, biblical wisdom literature provided for a means of the Jewish community. The Proverbs contains nuggets of truth and endure not only in the Jewish culture but also makes sense today. It contains basic wisdom on how to deal with most common everyday issues that we face, transcending personality and culture. The simple truth is that if people followed the advice of Proverbs, many of their problems would be reduced dramatically. So could be a testimony, you know what I mean? Your life changing for the better in accordance with this wisdom. But it helps you. What does it say here? It helps that many of your problems will be reduced dramatically. Like, one of the things that I can think about that helps me is how to deal with people. Like, people that are foolish. Like, some people are haughty. Haughty is like prideful. They think they're bitter. They think they're bigger and better than you. And before, like, that would kind of bother me, because, like, oh, they think they're better than me, I'm gonna show them that I'm better than them. That's wrong. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just ignore them, let them do their thing, and you do your own thing. You know what I mean? Don't have to deal. Don't respond to the fool. Like, basically Proverbs 27 verse 3, where I was talking about the sand is heavy and the stone is weighty, but a fool's unreasoning wrath is heavier and more intolerable than both of them. So don't respond to the fool's wrath. You know what I'm saying? Get away from them. Ignore them. It's because if you respond to their wrath, then you become like them. You become foolish yourself. And that's contrary to what we're trying to do. We're trying to be wise. And that's another thing too in the book of Proverbs. You have wise and you have foolish. There's two types of people. You have the wise person and you have the foolish person. In terms of pride and humility. The foolish person is prideful. The wise person is humble. You know what I mean? There's a parallel. There's a like a thing. I want to say parallel thing that goes in Proverbs. Foolish foolish people do this. Wise people do this. You know, foolish people gossip. Foolish people don't gossip. They they don't listen to that. They don't mess with gossip. You know, foolish people don't know how to use their words wisely. They just fly off at the handle and just say whatever. Wise people, think about what they're gonna say. They don't respond too quickly. You know, they're wise. Foolish people, foolish people borrow money. Wise people don't borrow money. You know, if I'm wrong on that, you can leave a comment or a question. Just let me know how you feel about that. But so this is this. It's just I'm planning on doing a video or a podcast or something like this. I don't know, maybe once a week, every twice a week. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Right now I'm just kind of just putting it out there, just as trying to make it a habit to do it. However often that I can. Um, I work. I have a family, stuff like that. I love what I do. I love spreading God's word. I love spreading Proverbs. I love Proverbs altogether because it helps us live, and I want other people to be wise as I'm striving to be wise, according to the book of Proverbs, and the Bible in general, but mostly in the Proverbs. I want it for other people to be wise too. So that's why I do this. And thanks a lot, you guys, for watching, for listening. Share this, like, subscribe, share. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I have a podcast. So I have a website also, and you can find that all that stuff wherever you're listening or watching. Of course, that's where you're at. So thanks a lot, you guys. Have a good one. Bye.